Good morning and welcome to my morning mug. I'm Mike Ricksecker, if you're not familiar with me yet, and my mug this morning is just a double shot. I know usually I have them when I'm on the road and you have all those herky-jerky videos of me driving in the car. I know I haven't done those for a little while here now. And, of course it's better to sit down and not have all that movement and bouncing and everything. Kind of, you could say I'm in between jobs at the moment. I'm starting a new job on Monday in Washington, D.C., so it's going to be a little bit longer of a drive for me now. Yeah, I got this week off, basically, so I'm just kind of kicking back, relaxing on the back patio, and you could call this my haunted road media office. I got the computer here with me right now. I'm actually working on Amelia Cotter's cover for her new edition of Maryland Ghosts that's coming out through Haunted Road Media. And I'm also doing some things with the website, adding some features and things like that. So a little bit of time to do those sorts of things. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get into something about time. How we view time and things like that, even time travel perhaps. So I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I want to give some shout outs first. I've been, I don't know, maybe kind of bad about that. I know, like, people that have requested videos, and I've gone ahead and given shout outs for that, and of course, for the indie horror movies like Dwelling, House of Manson. Well, House of Manson isn't horror, but I've definitely done some coverage there. But others that have been really supportive, that come by, leave comments all the time, that I want to give some shouts out to. Ninja Cthulhu is the channel. They do the creepy places of New England and global creepy places. Just watched one on the Spiderweb Cemetery, which is, if you've ever seen the Spiderweb Gates of the Cemetery, just watch that episode. What was it, yesterday? Very interesting, very cool, some great history behind that. They do a really, really good job of going to locations and digging up the history of those places, and then of course investigating and showing the activity and things that are going on there as well. So that's a great channel. Noreen Balovich's Paranormal Zone, watch her all the time. She usually has some great guests on there. I was on there a long time ago, but she'll bring Andrea Parrott on there. Dave Spinks is on there quite a bit, as well as a few other people. My buddy Rob Guttrow's been on there, but Noreen has a great channel with a lot of fantastic interviews with people. Of course, I've talked about IPRA Strong before. They have some fantastic videos and great features on there. Really good quality. I already mentioned Dave Spinks. Check out his Country Roads Paranormal channel. Also, I need Upstate Paranormal. They have a global paranormal channel that they've collaborated with to basically mesh a bunch of different channels together. So definitely check them out. And I also want to, one of the guys that's comments a lot on my videos and has actually requested some different videos that I've done. Not a paranormal channel, but still a fantastic contributor to the comments and everything. That's Castle Grown. So check out his channel as well. So okay, so done with the shout outs, kind of caught you up with what I'm doing. Now I'm going to talk about time. Time. Why am I talking about time? On a Tuesday morning at, what is it, 9 a.m.? 9:03 a.m. Well, basically I was influenced by the movie Interstellar. Now, before you go into, oh, well, that's a science fiction movie and all that stuff. First of all, I love Christopher Nolan's films. Going all the way back to Memento. I'm a huge Memento fan. I've probably watched that a couple times a year. And then I think that his Dark Knight trilogy with the Batman. I'm not really a superhero guy, but that Batman series I think was really well done, especially the second one. I mean, there's no doubt with Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker. That was fantastic. You know, and then Inception was another great one. And then he's got some other ones like The Prestige and things like that. You know, really kind of a cerebral type of writer and director, and his brother Jonathan Nolan does a lot of the writing there as well. So fantastic writers, great movies. Interstellar. So that gets into, I mean, sure, okay, they're trying to save the Earth. There's a lot of, you know, great personal stuff going on with, you know, the daughter and, you know, family and things like that, which really pulls at the heartstrings. But then it gets into, and they allude to it throughout the movie, fifth dimension, and then, you know, at the very beginning of the movie, she thinks she has a ghost. And if you pay attention to it, okay, if you haven't watched the movie, okay, I need to put out here, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Pause now, maybe fast forward a little bit. There, I gave you a chance to do it. Okay, so at the very beginning of the movie, she says, you know, Daddy, I think you're my ghost. And in no way that's true. I mean, he does turn out to be the ghost. How? Well, later on, he's able to access that time through, he's caught up in the fifth dimension in a black hole. I know there's a lot of sci-fi stuff here. Through a black hole, he's able to access time that's portrayed three-dimensionally. You know, and, you know, it's a way for us to be able to comprehend and see it and all that. So, now, what if you're really able to do something like that? I mean, can we do that from, you know, the fifth dimension? And you kind of have to start wrapping your head around, you know, what it is that you can see and interact with and all that. I mean, right now we are traveling, per se, in the fourth dimension of time. I mean, basically, you know, first dimension is line, second dimension is a plane, so that's like, you know, just like looking at a, you know, picture sort of thing, or if you're just looking directly down at a tabletop, something like that. Three-dimensional, you're talking, you know, object, and the dimension that you are in is the one that's, you know, outside of that, looking down on it, and you're able to interact with it, and that is, you know, fourth dimension we've dubbed as time. So a fifth dimension, you should be able to interact with time like we're able to interact with a three-dimensional object. Okay. But given that, a few years back, I started putting together a little bit of a theory, you know, in a notebook, kind of drew it out a little bit. I don't have it with me. It's kind of lost amongst the stuff out in Oklahoma, unfortunately. And I'm just going to kind of draw it up here, and I'm not going to like get into a bunch of art here, but traditionally we have thought of time, I don't know if you can see, as basically, you know, a line. We call it the river of time. Okay? And basically, you know, in anything that we do with like history or whatever, we always think of a timeline. So, you know, here's all these events, and, you know, we'll put a, you know, date on it. You know, okay, we'll go 2000 BC, and then I just put BB. And then, you know, it's 2015, Anno Domini, AD. You know, and it's always going forward. So, and we can't get back to these events. They've happened. We don't know what's coming up over here. It's basically a line going that way, and that's it. You know, we can, you know, we have history and photographs and paintings and stuff of things that happened back then, but we have no access to it. The only thing that we have access to is this very moment. I don't even have access to, you know, 2 seconds from now. I mean, the house could explode and that's it. I don't know. You know, shit happens. So that's it. Now, bear with me. What if there's another way to look at this, okay? And that maybe we're looking at time the wrong way, and not this line, this river of time that goes one way. What if it goes the other way? It's vertical, okay? And I'll draw a couple lines here, and I have a reason for doing a couple lines. What if it goes vertical? You know, and by no means am I saying that this is a perfect theory or whatever. These are like ideas that I'm kind of putting together for a theory. And events are stacked, okay? And we can access those from time to time. Think of, okay, I'm at a place. Say I'll say home here. And these lines could be different places, okay? And this stack is all the different events that have happened at that place, at that location, okay? And I'll take a residual haunt, okay? Some residual haunt that happened back, or something that happened back in, I don't know, I'll throw it out a year, 1838. I don't know why. 1838. And let's say that there was a tragic incident, somebody died there, and that is now echoing. And we're able to see that and access it occasionally through a haunt that's going on, okay? You know, it's, you know, something kicks off that echo from that point in time, and we're able to, you know, see it up here. You know, we're up here, okay? You know, something that's even like an intelligent haunt, an event, somebody that's back here in 1910 that's, you know, hanging around doing things, because you hear about different, you know, haunts and interactions with ghosts and spirits that they may change their look, they may change what they're wearing from day to day. You know, they may be you know, in a suit and tie one day, and another day they're in something casual. Or if it's like, I don't know, a little kid, one day they're in like their play clothes, and the next day they're in their Sunday best, you know, whenever you see them next. You know, or they're, you know, talking about things that happened, you know, back then or whatever. So, and you've heard about people that have encountered spirits and ghosts that are reacting like you're their ghost, okay? So back down here, back down the pipe, they may still be going on here, living their life, you know, down here, and they're kind of interacting with you, I'll put today, the same way. And maybe this guy down here is seeing your haunt back here. So maybe it's going up and down. These are all layered on top of each other, and it's a matter of accessing the layers that are all stacked on top of each other. So in other words, maybe all of these people, all of these events, all of this time that has happened is already like here now, but we're just sitting on top of it, and occasionally, for whatever reason, we're able to access that, okay? You know, because there's some reason as to why it's still here. There's some reason as to why events seem like they're, or a haunt seems like, you know, it's a recording, it's just getting kicked off, and, you know, it's like somebody's hitting the play button and you see it happen. You know, and there's some reason why we're able to, you know, maybe see an apparition or whatever of somebody that, you know, they're still, you know, dressed like they were back then. Maybe they're at a different age, a different time of their life back then, and for some reason they're able to, you know, project their presence out onto this time. And so, you know, is that, you know, we're able to, you know, access all this stacked up, you know, information and events and recordings throughout that, you know, in that place, in that time. Now, it doesn't, I guess, answer the question, well, what about a spirit that moves from place to place to place? I don't know about that yet. You know, this is just a theory. It's just some thoughts that I've put together. It's a different way of looking at time. And if we're able to look at it from a different perspective, instead of this like sideways river that's going on, it's something where it's like events are stacked on top of each other like that, then maybe there's a way that we can access it, and we can go back in time, not necessarily to like interact with it and change events or anything like that, but to maybe be able to see it play out even more than we already do when we interact with a spirit or a ghost or whatever. And there are times that people see not just a an entity, some sort of spirit or ghost or apparition or whatever, but they see an entire area, like the wall will change into the way it was back in the day. For example, Kathy Gash talks about the Irish Mill House in her book My Life Amidst the Paranormal, and actually it's one of the short stories in the Encounters with the Paranormal anthology, that when she saw, I guess it was the miller or whoever it was, the guy who was working at the mill, the entire wall like changed into the mill house the way it was 100 years back or whenever it was, and this guy was like standing on some scaffolding looking down on her. So the entire thing had changed. She had seen not just the guy, not just the ghost, but an entire scene. So there are ways to access it, and we're trying to figure out how, and maybe it's because we're just not really viewing it the right way. We have this idea, that's been going on perpetually, of how time works, and maybe we just haven't been viewing how that time works, and there's a different way to access it, and that all these events instead are just stacked on top of each other, and there's a way to get back down under there to view those things. So it's an idea, it's a thought, it's a theory. It's something that popped back up into my head when I was watching Interstellar, because he kind of had the same access there, where he could, and they weren't stacked on top of each other, it was like a web of events, and he was able to access different times in one specific location. And that's kind of what I have drawn out here. I have it as a straight up line up and down. Maybe it is a web, of a particular location. But that's my theory that I'm working with at the moment. So I hope that it can strike up some conversation. If you have some ideas or thoughts about that, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear other people's opinions, and if they have some insight into that sort of thing, you could agree, disagree, add to the idea, something like that. I'm certainly open to the conversation. So yeah, if you like the video, go ahead and you hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. There's a lot more coming up. I have the new Ghosts and Legends is going to come out soon, which is the Old Salt Sulphur Springs Resort in West Virginia. Yes, I just did a Paranormal Roads on it. That was the road trip video. The Ghosts and Legends is more the documentary, the history. I've got a great interview with Dave Spinks on there. So a lot of things coming up. I guess that'll be it. Till next time.